What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. If you've been here before, I'm NeonMushroom. We're going to be playing some Landstill in MTGO, and not to bury the lead, but a little bit of a preamble. Maybe not so much on the channel here, but definitely on the stream. I think I want to pull like an Andrea Mangucci, what he used to do with blue-black Murktide and the blue-red Murktide deck as well in Modern. I think I'm going to revisit this deck once a week on stream. It's a deck that I play mostly in paper. This is one of my main decks, and I think I want to have what I would call a home deck, a deck that I actually play. I like to play challenges for fun and stuff. I do play leagues for fun, and there's a ton of paper Magic to be played, and I haven't really been focusing on a deck, and I'd like to, as much as I like showcasing the whole format on this channel, which is something I don't plan to stop doing. Me and Max only being able to play a deck for a little bit, then swap to the next one, does create a situation where maybe all the plays aren't as tight as they could be. I don't think this is a real problem. The whole point is to show off what can be done in Premodern, but I would like to have a deck that I can focus on and work on and tune just for my own personal enjoyment. And maybe, twice a month, I'll upload one of those Landstill streams to this channel like we're doing right now. If you don't know what Landstill is, it's just the combination of the card Standstill and a bunch of lands that do very cool things. We've got cards like Faerie Conclave, which can attack for damage. Same thing with Mishra's Factory. Our mana base is very solid. We've got many dual lands, fetches, pains, come into play tap lands, and then we've got some mana disruption, Dust Bowl, Wasteland, and it's all packed into a 27 land mana base. One of the ways we justify that, besides our deck costing a ton of mana to play, is a lot of our lands kind of feel like spell slots, which is really cool. But that's the Landstill part of the deck name. The rest of it is a blue-white control deck. We've got the normal blue-white control staples: Counterspell, Mana Leak, Swords to Plowshares, Wrath of God, Fact or Fiction. This is the whole base of a deck. There are a couple different decks that do this thing. This is my personal favorite one. I think the big blue-white deck is cool too, but I'm just so in love with the utility lands in this mana base. We got some Phyrexian Furnaces. They're active in most matchups. They're very good. Powder Keg, extra Wrath effect to go with our Powder Kegs. And then we're doing some more interesting stuff that maybe isn't super common. We've got Disenchant. That's very normal. I know a lot of decks play Seal of Cleansing, but now that the Parallax Tide is banned, I think having an instant speed Disenchant is a little bit better, because I think that when you expose a Seal of Cleansing, it's not the same thing as exposing a Seal of Fire. The Seal of Fire can always go face, but if you expose the Seal of Cleansing and your opponent wants to do a thing, they can actually just disenchant your Seal of Cleansing, then do the thing they wanted to do. I don't think we want to open ourselves up to that. We're only playing 2 Decree of Justice, one of the normal big finishers of the deck, because I really wanted to squeeze 1 Exalted Angel in the main. I want to respect Sly a little bit. We have some Sly players here in my local metagame. And in the sideboard, you've seen most of these things in the sideboard. The 2 cards I want to call out is Morphling, because the mirror has come up for me a lot, and this card does win the mirror fairly quickly. And then Enchantress I want to respect, so I'm going to play a Cleansing Meditation as well. Like I said, we're going to see this deck a lot moving forward, but that's all you need to know for now, so let's hop into the league. All right, this first hand, we're on the draw, and we've got a couple of Counterspells and a couple of Swords to Plowshares. This is the perfect representation of what this deck is all about, so I'm going to keep it. If the Counterspells are good, then the Swords to I should reverse that. If the Swords to Plowshares are good, then the Counterspells are likely to be okay, and vice versa, but the hand should be able to handle some stuff. Opponent says, hi, huge fan. Oh, nice. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun. And if you're a huge fan, if you see this last hero on YouTube, what's up? Good luck, buddy. All right, I'm keeping. You have a Maya Coast. Ooh, a little bit of madness. That's a bird. This is not a little bit of madness. I believe we will be bolting the bird. Kind of. We'll do it off the back of an Adarkar Wastes so we can hold up Counterspell next turn. But we don't want anything crazy coming down just yet. Survival resolving is going to be a pain, because we're going to have to deal with that using a Disenchant effect, which we don't currently have. Brian, thank you for the tier 1 sub. 3 months. I think you get a new badge now. It's just a Wall of Roots. We can contain a Wall of Roots. We'll let that resolve. I'm thinking about potentially Swords to Plowsharing that as well. But I won't. Ooh, Disenchant. So if they do resolve Survival, I've got an answer for that. I think holding up Counterspell is a little bit more important. And if our opponent doesn't give us the opportunity to convert the mana, we'll just Impulse. That's one of the things I really like about this deck. It's really good at leveraging holding up Counterspell and doing something else if the opponent is smart enough to not play into it. They're down to 3 in hand, so I can contain everything they've currently got. Survival. Do we Counterspell or do we just Disenchant after they pitch their first card? It's kind of interesting. I think I need the opportunity to convert my Disenchant, so I'm just going to let that go. Yeah, Sabo's Web is a very good card against Landstill. Hey, dude, been watching your live stream. I can say you're really doing great. Love to be one. I'd love to be one of your fan if you're cool with that. Add me up on Discord. Username is SmartGem. I don't know if you're real. They're going to pitch to Survival. Do we Disenchant the Survival now? They've only got access to 1 mana. I think this is a great time to pull the trigger on a Disenchant. Now, one thing I could have done is allow them to go get Squee, but they've got the extra mana to pitch the Squee and search for something else. Then I've got the Counterspells to contain whenever they get. So Landstill's just a well-built pile. Was playing some games with it the other night. Yeah, it's a great pile. I'm a control sicko. I'll play control even when it's not justified in the format, just because I love the play patterns. So Landstill is right up my alley. A side effect of being a content creator if you can call it that, is you got to play a lot of different decks. I want my videos to do well, and I want people to get a big panoramic view of the format. So it's something that pops up. I get comments about this all the time. Why do you suck so bad at Magic, Adrian? And it's like, well, I don't know if I'm like great at Magic, but I also don't know if I like actually suck at Magic. I think I'm not good enough at Magic to be able to contain the correct play patterns for, 70 decks at a time in my head. We do our best. I think we do an okay job, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that like we have cracked the code or anything. Like we definitely have our shortcomings especially in the paper gameplay. But I like to think we do an okay job still, kind of representing the format and the things you can do. But it does make me look like a worse Magic player than I think I am, just because I play a lot of things. I can't, doing daily content, it's really difficult to sit down and like, okay, I'm going to learn this deck perfectly. It's like, that's not really going to happen. Winter Orb, huh? You don't want me to have any fun. No, thank you. Please do not have a second survival. This would be the window for that to be insane against me. Untap the Wall of Roots, that's fine. Land again. Green. Colorless. Oh, come on, dude. Seriously? Must be nice. Attack for 1. I don't think we're going to burn our swords on that. But that's a little on the lucky side. I think we still had to deal with the Winter Orb. So now we're kind of looking to add Seal of Cleansing. No, I think this main deck is playing 2 Disenchants to our range. But and it might be correct to Swords to Plowshare the Wall of Roots as well, to contain their mana a little bit. But that's also a problem that will likely deal with itself for us. So I think we're just going to let this go for now. I also put them on Oppo Survival, seeing the Winter Orb. Oppo Survival. If people were asking about bad matchups, I don't love this matchup for us. They are just passing, which could, they're attacking. It's possible that they don't have a creature to deploy, which would be pretty good for us. Oh, nope, they do. They're pitching Basking Rootwalla. Yikes. Yeah, I'll respond to that, actually. I'll fetch. We'll go grab an island. And let's go ahead and take this opportunity to Impulse, just in case we see a Disenchant in that pile. Standstill, Impulse, Mishra's Factory, Plains. Well, we can't exactly Standstill under a active attacker. I think we'll take another Impulse and we'll let this Basking Rootwalla go. This should be Squee. And have they used their Wall of Roots? They have. So if they get Squee, they could just like army in a can with Basking Rootwalla, but they open themselves up to getting absolutely blown out by Wrath of God. But they can do it at instant speed. I'm going to Impulse now. See if I can find a Disenchant again. We find one. Okay. It's a shame I have to let the Wrath of God go, but I think that the survival is causing us more issues than anything else. So hopefully we hit land. That would be ideal. Mishra's Factory is great. That'll bolster our defenses a little bit. And then I'm going to stop them in their upkeep just in case they don't search with the Basking Rootwalla. But if they do, we're just going to disenchant the survival of the fittest. All right, we don't want them continuing this line. So here is the disenchant that I have Impulse twice for. No, thank you. All right, you may do the things. When I happened upon your channel 5 or 6 months ago, you said that Premodern was quickly becoming your favorite format. Is it safe to say it's cemented? Yes, this is, to me, Premodern. When I say I'm playing Magic, I mean I'm playing Premodern. To me, this isn't just my favorite format. It's the only format that currently matters to me. I think more Pauper coming in the future. I've been shopping for months, almost a half a year at this point, for a second format, something to arrange the NeonMushroom channel around, because all my stuff goes up in Fluorescent Fungus right now. Something to add some variety to the streams, because after we finish moving, I'm considering doing the daily streaming thing, because I can carve the time out for it. Especially once all the commute times and the things I have to do locally here get cut down because we're moving to a more convenient location. Once all that's done, I would like to do more, especially on the streaming side. But I feel like I need a second format because I don't want to. I feel like we're just at the edge of how much Premodern we can actually make. And I find Pauper to be an exhilarating format as well. I just haven't had a lot of time to sink my teeth into it. I have a pretty deep Pauper collection too. So a lot of Pauper, a lot of Premodern. They're grabbing a Genesis. Hopefully they extend it. I will not be counterspelling it. All right, Forest. So are we extending the Genesis? That is ideal. Swordsing the Genesis means it's not going to be a huge issue for us. All right, end step, STP, Genesis. Threat contained. Oh, don't worry, Brian. I know we're going to be doing some value vintage, but I can't focus on the format because I feel like that focusing on that format requires a level of, it feels like you need a team to maintain, like, what's the best way to put it? Monitoring a value vintage deck's cost is a fun but semi-time consuming aspect of playing the format, right? Ooh, get a double attack with the Basking Rootwalla. Would I trade a Mishra's Factory for a Rootwalla here? I'm at 13. I can't do nothing. Okay, yeah, we'll activate this. Tapping for colorless. They can double pump on the Rootwallas. We'll go to blockers. We'll pop a blocker off here. But yeah, it requires more bandwidth than I currently have. Every game of value vintage I've played, I have enjoyed so thoroughly. like unbelievably thoroughly. However, it's a little tricky to, especially from a content perspective, to track the prices of all the value vintage decks. And then it feels like the content, it doesn't expire too quickly, because even if a deck becomes a little bit on the expensive side, I think that's actually okay. So, oh, by the way, what we're doing is we're swordsing this basking root wall that they're pumping. Then we're going to trade with this one and have 2 counterspells in our hand. So if we draw another blue source, that would be a perfectly acceptable draw. But it's a lot of work. I think it's worth it. I think someone should do it. I currently can't be the person doing it, if that makes sense. As much as, believe it or not, I would like to be. All right, we're going to untap Fact or Fiction off the top. If you guys can hear that, I'm sorry. Impulse, we'll just hold the Impulse and pass. We've contained 2 copies of Survival of the Fittest. So there's only 2 more to go, and I've got 2 counterspells in my hand. So it's like, things we're looking for is like Fact or Fiction, Wrath of God. At some point, developing a Decree would be nice. If I can get a Standstill into play underneath this Quarian Ranger, that would be ideal. Drawing your 3rd Survival of the Fittest is quite lucky. Do you have the 4th? Attackers for 1? Makes sense to me. Go to unstep. All right, Impulse. Find me a Fact or Fiction. I think that's the thing we're really looking for now. Now we need to start trying to bury our opponent in card advantage. There's the Fact or Fiction. We'll grab that, any order those, and go to our turn. Land would be fine. There's a man right outside my window blowing grass. Impulse is fine. If they force me to convert the counterspell, I can. Hear that? We're going to wait a sec for this guy to get the fuck out of here. He's doing a great job, but he was like, I think he was blowing at my window. Thank you. Okay, we got a Finhorn Elves coming down. I'm not going to interact with that at all. Quarian Ranger gets activated. I don't care about that either. Reset your land drop for sure. 1, 2, 3. Opposition? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Counterspell the opposition. Attackers, I'll take the 1. And luckily, we have a mana sink here in our Impulse. So we're going to 9, which isn't ideal. We really do need to develop Wrath of God sooner than later. I will take a land here. I think we need them. I wonder if getting another white source is necessary here. No, I'll just take the basic island, bottom these, and go to our turn. Untap, take draw. Absorb. Actually, another phenomenal draw here. I can't complain. Our opponent was quite lucky to draw 3 survivals in the top 18 cards of their library. I was quite lucky to draw this much permission in the top 21 cards of my library. So there's definitely some give and take here. All right, they're finally out of gas, meaning I can relax a little and resolve Fact or Fiction. I wouldn't even be shocked if they 1-piled that Fact. All right, take the big pile. There's no chance I'm taking Wrath over all those cards. There's a Decree. That's how I can contain these 2 dudes. I think we use our life total as a resource and get the hit so we don't like accidentally let something resolve. Reno, what's going on? But this Furnace is going to be helpful too, because there is 1 more Survival of the Fittest contained in their library, which is something I have to be cautious about. Like, it's why I'm not going to cycle this Decree, and I'm just going to take the 2. All right, now that we're at end step, I'm pretty comfortable. I could Fact or Fiction here, but I think it's actually more important that I develop blockers for their 1/1s. Bunch of 1/1s, take a draw. Another land is always welcome. Untap. Take another draw. Land, let's go ahead and tap for a colorless here and drop a Furnace. We'll go ahead and activate that now. And that should clean the game up. I like the idea of being able to Fact or Fiction. I guess I can't Fact plus Absorb. Non-zero chance that it's correct to deploy the 2nd Furnace here. I think I can afford it. Yeah, we'll play another Furnace and we'll activate this one too. And then we will just pass. No attacking. These are strict blockers. Green, we got a dude. Attackers, I will be blocking. All right, they're just going to the unstep. All right, here comes another great resolution for Fact or Fiction. Couple kegs, 3 lands. If they split at land spells, I think I will just take the kegs. Ooh, they don't split at land spells. They're okay with us getting a keg. I guess giving me a man land gives me a clock, and they can't just do that for free. I think I do value the man land. I will take the smaller pile here. A lot of people who play Landstill, I've got some locals who sometimes make the comment that Landstill seems a little underpowered. It's frustrating. You seem to lose by only a little bit a lot of the time, and it's because you've probably missed damage. At the end of the day, you win the game just like any other deck by attacking. All right, exile the 2 bottom cards, develop the Faerie Conclave, and this should be a safe turn to also develop the Powder Keg, which I'm pretty content to get it up to 1. I know that it'll blow up my Furnaces, so if I do need to pop it, I'll make sure I had the mana to pop the Furnaces first to get my cards back. All right, attackers, there are no good ones. Oh, but we're doing it anyway. Okay, go to blockers. Pop off a block here, pop off a block here. Shroom, sorry to keep bothering you with that, but just wanted to let you know that I sent you an email yesterday with a special invite for a Brazilian Nationals. So I did mention it. I actually got it on yesterday's stream. So I can't come, unfortunately. This year is very busy for me. Like we're literally buying a house and everything, but I'm going to plug it for you because I actually have a decent amount of, it's weird. Analytically, I've got like a good audience size in Brazil. which actually makes sense since Brazil seems to have a phenomenal pre-modern scene. I will tick this up to 1. Standstill should be the straw that breaks the camel's back here. Let's eat the bottom cards. Let's play a Flooded Strand. Let's go ahead and tap for 1, 2, and let's develop Standstill. Let's fetch to 4. Let's grab a Plains. Let's tap a Plains and an Island to man up this Faerie Conclave. Go to combat and full send because their Wall of Roots is a 0/1. All right, turning the corner, and you may go. Land. Opponent wants to keep fighting. I like it. Also, if they keep fighting, they get to see more of our deck, so that's kind of important too. All right, on tap, I think that this matchup, I will tick it up to 2 and leave it there. That way, if they get a trade wind, no, maybe 3 and leave it there. That way, if trade wind rider resolves, I can pop it before they're able to use it. So this is going up. That's a prohibit. And now we're going to stay the course. It's our opponents, the onus is on the opponent to change what's happening in this game. Because as the current flow suggests, we're just going to win. We're just going to win this game if the status quo doesn't get changed. We pass. We've got multiple pieces of deployable permission. We can actually cast every spell in our hand. This is a pretty close to unlosable situation. Attackers, end step, eat some more goodies from the bottom. And then I think I will be ticking this Powder Keg up to 3. All right, we got a counterspell. That's great. Same verse here. Activate the Faerie Conclave. Get busy. They decide they want to block with their Wall of Roots. I like it. I'll just pass. Birds of Paradise is going to pop my Standstill. So first we're going to let that happen. Draw 3. Great. Another Standstill and a Wrath. That is fine. We don't care about a birds. And they're just passing. I wonder why they're still playing the game. Maybe they're playing to my clock a little bit. Although I'm ahead on time, so that seems weird. All right, my turn. Untap. This keg can actually stay at 3. If it ever needs to go to 4, I can put it there on the spot. So we will activate this Faerie Conclave for a colorless and a blue. And we're getting in. They're blocking the Conclave. I guess I can see why they do that. It seems like kind of I don't think that play actually takes them anywhere, but so be it. I think the only fetchable left in my deck is a Plains. This is important because I need multiple blue sources. So let's fetch to 3. Yep, it's just a Plains. And then we'll tap, I guess I still can't play the Standstill and hold up both pieces of permission. But I already fetched, so I can't undo that tap. I guess I'm going to exercise gross caution and just pass the turn. Birds is fine. 1, 2, survival. Wall of Roots. Is it just me or is Moto very slow and buggy today? From my side, it's been pretty snappy and responsive, but maybe it is buggy. For other people, I don't know. If I get up really quick and leave the room, it's Spike Feeder. They're down to 1 in hand. Yeah, we'll let that resolve. We're just going to go ahead and Wrath of God and deploy a Standstill. All right, end of your turn. Furnace, you. My turn. I won't be ticking up the Powder Keg. Take a draw. Play Skycloud Expanse. We'll tap for a colorless and filter that into blue, white. White and blue. At least there's 4 blue sources. Yeah, so a Wrath of God. They're gaining some life, which is understandable. All right, you go up to 16, wipe the board. And then let's see. Can I stand still and hold up everything? I can. You know what? Do I even need to stand still? It's pretty free too, right? Yeah, we'll cast Standstill and we'll just pass. They're passing. At this point, my clock's behind, so I need to get the job done. Exile your bottom. Exile your bottom. Go to my turn. Untap. I'll leave that at 3. Dust Bowl's a nice addition. We'll activate Mishra's Factory for a white. We will tap for colorless, filter it into blue-white, and turn on the Conclave. Combat, full send, and pass. Opponent's just making land drops. No reason to do anything but eat the bottom card. Their lands aren't really threatening me right now, so I'm not even going to bother with the Dust Bowl action. We're just going to go make a blue and a white for a colorless. Turn this on. I don't think I'm concerned with keeping this Dust Bowl up, so we'll turn on the Factory. Play this, go to combat, attack with everything, and pass. 2 more turns to go. Looks like they're just passing to us. We untap. Same exact deal here. Activate this, turn this on. Same here. Combat, full send. Not even going to deploy the Angel. It doesn't speed my clock up. I won't show them that I have it in my main board. So they're going to play a Wall of Blossoms and crack my Standstill. This is fine. You may have a Wall of Blossoms. Quarian Ranger with 3 in hand. This is also fine. Opposition is not fine. We're going to Counterspell. 1, 2. All right, we get game 1. This matchup can be pretty hard. Our opponent, they had the things they needed. I just got very lucky off the top of my deck, which we'll take those. I think that Aura of Silence, Disenchant, and potentially even Cleansing Meditation can be quite good. Maybe Annul as well, like all my enchantment hate. I can consider Morphling for the sake of the clock, which does matter now. We've used half of our clock to play that first game. I don't want Blue Blast. I don't want Cop Red. And I think Wrath of God's too valuable to actually consider Meddling Mage. Also, they're a Wall of Blossoms deck, so Meddling Mage really isn't going to be getting in very often. I think 8 cards is going to be too many, so let's order these by order of importance. I think it'll be, what's the most important? Aura of Silence, definitely on the high end. followed by Disenchant. Actually, this order is probably just about correct. Maybe Disenchant's less important than Cleansing Meditation. No, I think it's slightly better. And then potentially, like, we're on the draw, so Annul is actually quite good. So I'm going to value that higher than a card like Prohibit. Morphling, yes. I guess Angel just gets like bounced by Tradewind or tapped by whatever. We can consider it. We can consider those 7. I don't think I can afford the other Angel. What is less likely to be good? I think because of their mana advantage, I'm going to drop Mana Leak and Prohibit. I'm not as interested in either of those. I think that, you know, it's kind of funny. My main board set up fairly well for the matchup. I think Absorb can be a little bit clunky to convert. On the draw, maybe I'll trim 1 Standstill. And I think I am interested somewhat in the Morphling, just to like close the game all at once if I'm already ahead. Annul is good on the draw because our opponent can go turn 1 land, pass. I go turn 1 land, pass. They can go turn 2, survival of the fittest. I don't have enough mana to counterspell. So you can kind of get their best turn 2 with Annul. Is Morphling better than any other card in my deck, though? I don't think so. We'll try it without the Morphling and the Angel. We'll try not adding win conditions. All right, so we can't do anything on turn 1, but you know, we really can't convert the Counterspell either. I think their best openers kind of run this over. I don't have any castables except for Powder Keg. Lunchbox, thanks for this Prime sub. 1 more month and you get a new badge. Think about that. All right, I think we're going to mulligan this, even though it looks reasonable. This hand contains multiple Disenchant effects and a castable Impulse. Even though this hand looks notably weaker, I think the upside of finding a white source for the Disenchant is actually pretty high. I think that this Fact or Fiction's kind of important. I'm on the draw. Can I get greedy and pitch a land? I think not. I think being 2 white away from the Aura of Silence is too greedy. All right, we'll try this. We draw an island. Let's hope they don't have the turn 2 survival. If they do, let's hope we draw a white source. All right, it's just a Warb. Warb's good against us, but we have Disenchant. We draw a Powder Keg. Powder Keg actually beats the Warb right now, and they're only going to get 1 on tap. Okay, I kind of like this. I'm going to keep an island in my hand for as long as possible. I'm going to play Mishra's Factory and just drop Keg. That's an answer to Warb, but it's not an answer to survival. So I kind of value holding the Disenchant for a little bit. It's up for 2 for a Wall of Roots. Wow, that plays right into the Warb, huh? We'll untap an island, and then we will always yield to this trigger, and we will, yes, tick it up. All right, Coastal Tower. Let's play a Coastal Tower, actually. Yeah, we'll just drop this past the turn. They must have a Naturalize or something. All right, you've got a Birds. City. Attackers, end step, my turn. All right, we'll untap the Coastal Tower. Now we have Disenchant up. We will tick this Keg up. They've got 2 lands tapped, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this up for a moment. We'll just play a Faerie Conclave and pass. I won't crack this till after their untap step. All right, they've untapped. I pop Keg. Land. Maybe they feel pressured to like resolve an opposition here. Oh, that's exactly what they do. Great. Attackers, end step, Disenchant, opposition. All right, my turn. Untap, draw Counterspell. Not quite. We've got a Dust Bowl. I don't think I'm going to show it yet. I'm just going to jam this island and pass the turn. That way, if they play something I absolutely have to counter, I can try to Impulse for it. And if they don't do anything relevant, I can just Fact or Fiction. Wall of Blossoms is fine. That's not on the list of stuff I really care about. It makes me being able to beat them slower, but we've got some man lands in play already. There's a Wall of Roots. This is also fine. These are all things that get wiped up by a single Wrath of God. Blue, take 1. All right, it's another opposition. I think I must Impulse in response to that. Do we see a Counterspell? We don't. Do we take a Swords to Plowshares? None of their creatures have power. Let's grab a Standstill. I cannot interact with that. I have 6. You may tap 2 of my lands, which I would recommend doing here in my upkeep. All right, that's tapped. And that is also tapped. Can I attack with Faerie Conclave and play Standstill? I can. Blue, no response. Cleansing Meditation's a fine pickup here. We'll play Flooded Strand. Go to combat, attack for 2, damage, and then I believe if I stand still right now, they can just lock us out of combat for the foreseeable future. I think maybe we just like chill. Is there any chance that that's right? They can lock us off white for a good while. No, let's just let it go, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked with the Conclave. Maybe I should have... Well, I couldn't play the Cleansing Meditation anyway, right? Attackers, they don't have any. End step, I will not crack my fetch. I don't want them to be able to tap it with the opposition. My white source, that is. All right, you've tapped Factory, and you've tapped Conclave. Is this a good moment to cast Fact or Fiction? I feel like it kind of is. Although I can just resolve Cleansing Meditation, right? No, that's dumb. Untap, draw. Oh, wait, no, I can't. Because they can now... Okay, now I think I resolve Fact or Fiction, right? Or do I keep hiding my white source? I think I keep hiding my white source. I think this is fine. All right, here's a Faerie Conclave, and then I'm going to pass the turn. Green, Birds is fine. The longer I leave this Flooded Strand tapped or uncracked, the longer I have to draw white source to just hard cast Cleansing Meditation and break out of this lock. Now, this might be a point where I do like tap this for mana, no response. Tap this for mana, no response. Tap this for mana. What they should have done was move to my draw step to try to let this mana float away. But it looks like they're doing this all in my upkeep. All right, yeah, they're letting me convert all the mana they're targeting, which is maybe not the best move. Fact or fiction versus the world? There's no way that's right. This looks a little bit better. I think I do. Oh, if they give me a big fact or fic pile, I think I have to take it. Yeah, we're taking the big one. Any order those. Yield to all. All right, we've drawn an island. We will actually play a Dust Bowl. And then I think we're just chilling out. We've got a counterspell. They have 0 clock. So now they could tap us out of counterspell. But if they start to do that in our main phase, we'll just fact or fic in response. Because the meditation won't just beat the opposition. It'll beat any enchantment they try to play. All right, we'll float a blue. All right, they're trying to pass. I think I'm interested. They've only got 2 in hand. Yeah, I am interested in trying to resolve fact or fic. So let's grab a white source and let's just jam this. 1, 2, 3. You may resolve anything. Disturbing lack of like Wrath of Gods. Not that I could cast it right now anyway. Do I want big pile full of lands or a bunch of spells? All right, give me big pile. And now I can yield through turn. There's a bird. Oh, that's all they do. Okay. All right, we'll tap this for mana. We'll tap this for mana. Tap it for mana. And we will tap it for mana. Yield to all. All right, I have nothing to sink it into. Draw for turn. Another factory. Let's go ahead and drop a coastal tower tapped. Let's tap this Dust Bowl for a furnace. Let's tap this island for a... Or you know what? Let's tap... No, if they Winter Orb us, we're done for anyway, right? Yeah, let's get another furnace going and try to crack our way into a disenchant. No Winter Orbs allowed, opponent. Opposition my island, tap it. All right, we're going to use that. We're going to tap this furnace, exile the bottom. Then we're going to use that floating mana to eat the opposition. Just looking kind of for a disenchant here. Just an impulse? Okay. We can try to impulse into disenchant as well. Trade wind? Is that where we're going with this? A morphed creature. Can't stop you. Combat. You don't really have any good combats. End step. All right, let's draw another card. We're looking actively for disenchant now. All right, there's a Wrath of God on tap. All right, we'll tap this for... Oh, they're holding priority and tapping my land. That's fine. All right, we're going to impulse. Tapping... What all are we targeting here? Is anything targeting the factory? No, but we're impulse here and here. Oh no, show me my cards. STP, Powder Keg, huh? Powder Keg on 1. I guess that flip down card's probably an Antuco Vigilante. We kind of have to take swords. Any order here. And then we can yield to all. At this point, our clock's our biggest enemy over everything else. Another STP. Let's go. We don't really need to wasteland them. Let's just keep playing colored sources out. And then let's... Really nothing else to do. We'll just pass through the turn. And we will discard Standstill. Ooh, we got another one to do. Let's also do... We might need the factory to turn the corner. Wasteland. All right, we can just yield through the turn. I've got nothing for them. Definitely should be attacked. Well, I guess they should have attacked there. All right, do we use this white? I think we do. We're going to swords to plowshares. I guess the morph. All right, you've tapped that. Oh, you like this one? Yeah, me too, buddy. STP, I guess we'll get one of the tap birds. Doesn't really matter. All right, you've tapped that. You get 3 more. Yep, it's tapped. Uno mas. It is tapped. Draw Factorific. Factory go. All right, a disenchant off the top screeches this to a halt, and I think we can turn the corner. Factorific. No such luck. We will choose the big pile next turn. On tap. Tap stuff. Go crazy. We're getting to the point where they won't have enough creatures to contain all of our white sources, which is pretty strong. All right, float a mana here. They tap this one. Ooh, they're leaving me with a white source. Okay, no response. Draw step. Weird. What a weird play. Adarkar Wastes, Wrath of God. White, white, 1, 2. All right, go. I'm not even going to bother with the standstill. I'm just going to pitch a Flooded Strand. All right, now we have to kick it into high gear and try to actually win the game. Basking Root Wall is fine. End step, my turn. Untap, take a draw. It's a disenchant. Let's go ahead and just bite this bullet now. Disenchant here. Let's get in with both factories. For a blue and a colorless. Factory for a blue and a colorless. Combat, attack with everything. Damage. And we'll pass. Ooh, we probably should have left a little bit more blue up. Not that I think it matters here. The card in their hand's dead, so the top deck I can just counterspell. Opponent says, GG, man. GG's. All right, we get there in game 1. Opponent definitely had stuff come together, but like I think what they needed there was like a natural order or something. We did manage to get there against the Oppo survival deck, so let's get into round number 2. All right, Max the Ripper's the opponent. This guy is a killer, probably on goblins. Also, I think this is the second place trophy leaderboard holder. Was there a basic plans left for the Flooded Strand? That would have been a problem for them anyway. There was. Let's see here. So if Max the Ripper's on goblins, I have the swords to plowshares wrapped up. The permission's going to be hard to convert, but I think we keep this. Mountain, Lackey. I got your number this time, Max. Adarkar Wastes, go. Attackers are fine. STP, pass the turn. You got that pile driver, another Lackey, and a Fanatic. All right, we have to play Mishra's Factory here. We have to attempt a block. Double Lackey hand, likely to be pretty effective against us. Ooh, Port. Brutal. Brutal. All right, is it even worth manning up the factory? I don't think it is. We'll just take the 2. Let's hope there's some anemia going on in the rest of the hand. Not horribly likely. Yeah, it's a siege gang. Max had our number this time. Perfect gear 1 start, double lackey, can't beat that. Tap the Adarkar is fine. We draw a Standstill. Let's play a Coastal Tower. And I don't even know what we, you know what? I don't even know what we try to draw here. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Swing again. I can't draw Wrath of God because I don't have the mana. I don't draw mana because I can't draw the Wrath of God. Yeah, we won't waste time there. Max had the perfect gear 1 start that I could not beat if I wanted to. We'll take Cop Red. Yeah, they even had the Rishid import. Yeah, you can't beat those. So, sometimes lucky is good enough. Can't get mad at that. We got so lucky last round. Disenchant, no. Null, no. Blue Blasts, yes. I don't know if this is the Morphling matchup, though. Probably just those 6. Phyrexian Furnace does not have text, nor does Disenchant. And then I'm not a big fan of Absorb in a matchup like this. And then I think I can trim a Standstill, potentially. On the play, my permission's better than average. Good point. Yeah, if I had manned up, he could have tapped down. But another thing they could have done is not tap down, let the block pop off, and then shoot the Mishra's Factory. Not that that's better than getting it with a lackey. But like maybe it was better to block, but strip mining myself also loses us the game here. So we're not comparing plays that could have won us the game versus plays that lost us the game. We're comparing plays that were both going to lose us the game, but one might be technically better if you weigh it pound for pound, which I don't think that's super important to work through. Like we lose that game basically no matter what play we make. It's not even a slim chance. I don't even believe it's a slim chance. Because even if we don't know what's in their hand, so say their hand's like dead. Best case scenario for us is their hand's dead and they just let it happen and don't bother with the port. Strip minus with the Mog Fanatic. Then we're under that same port, but we're on 1 land. And they've got 3 lands. So they'll just work their way towards casting that Siege King commander. I don't think there's particularly any chance, but I think your play is marginally better. I really don't know what the last cut is. It's like, I don't think it's a counterspell because I'm on the play. Yeah, I think it might just be a Standstill. I could see that just getting trapped in my hand while I'm trying to fight off the opposition. Submit deck. Also, we weren't guaranteed dead. If they only put in like a pile driver or something, we'd have been fine, right? All right, I would like to play first. This hand passes the lackey test. We've got the STP, and we can use Impulse to try to force our 3rd land. We keep this. Fair point. Yeah, don't get me wrong. After taking a second to think about it, I think your play is actually a little bit better. Unfortunately, I don't think it changes the outcome of the game. It would have made me look smarter though, for sure. Let's go Adarkar Wastes and then pass the turn. Yeah, Prison. I would much rather be. A lot of people make the mistake, the vile mistake of assuming that blue-white has a good matchup in the Goblins because it's like control deck versus creature deck. Good Goblins player, which make no mistake, Max the Ripper is one. Good Goblins players will absolutely decimate. Well, not decimate. It's a close matchup is what I'm saying. But they have the tools to decimate blue-white. Just like we kind of have the tools to hang for a lot of the game. All right, there's my island. We would like it if they didn't do anything we had to interact with because I really want to Impulse. We won't interact with a lackey. We won't interact with a pile driver. We won't interact with a prospector. We will take the 1 and we will just jam Impulse. All right, we will take, an on-tap land isn't particularly important here. It is nice that I can hold up Swords to Plowshares and Prohibit. I've already got a bunch of blue. Let's actually take the Dust Bowl. Next turn, another land would be ideal. Yeah, the matchup does come down to the lot, Equinox. Dust Bowl, and we are just passing again. Now we are in the 4th land waiting room. If we develop it in the next draw or 2, we're playing a real game of Magic. If we do not draw our lands, we are in a fair bit of trouble. We see a Goblin Warchief. I wonder if this is okay. I don't think that it is. I'm going to counterspell. Well, the Ringleader is actually a bigger problem. Let's STP here, and you may attack. Youch. 1 land, please, deck. Work with me here. Not quite, huh? I could morph an angel, but I can't even flip it face up, so I think we are now in the waiting room. We've got 1 more turn before not drawing the land becomes a severe problem for us. Attacks for 2. Opponent has nothing to do. Are there Siege Gangs clogged in hand? Or are you just gripping Red Blast? All right, Skycloud. Boom. Found him. We could have Standstill there, but then we would just die to 2/1/1s. That's not great. Another Mountain Combat. Yeah, I'll take 2. All right, make a trade with me, Max. Make a trade. Blue-white, whatever. 1, 2, 1, 2. Trade me for this Swords, for this Fact or Fiction, Porpivore. Use that Red Blast in your hands. Yep, deal. All right, on tap. Take a draw. Another Counterspell. We kind of have to use our life total as a resource here. What I really like to do is get to my 5th mana so I can morph the Exalted Angel while maintaining use of my Counterspell. So that's the line here. Another thing we could do is just morph the Angel and try to get them to extend and then blow them out with Wrath of God. but then Ringleader becomes a very very big detriment to us. So we're just going to kind of pass and see what they do. We've got a few more turns of being able to tank this kind of damage. We're going to try to use them to draw a land. End step, untap, draw. Decree of Justice is helpful. We'll just cycle it for 1 on their end step. I'm not going to go shields down for counter magic, and it'll probably trade for a Mog Fanatic because I imagine they might want to keep their Skirt Prospector for the combo potential at the end of the game. All right, end step, cycle, tap like this. 1, 2, 3. All right, no response to that. We will make 1 dude. Draw a card. Yes, land is perfect. Untap, draw for turn. Cop Red is pretty good here. I think Cop Red is actually better than just jamming Angel. So we'll go blue-white for this, Circle of Protection red, and just pass. They're getting flooded pretty badly here. Matron's fine. We are not interested in interacting with that. This probably goes to grab a Ringleader. That's a card we're going to pick a fight over. They might have another Red Blast. If that's the case, so be it. We have to fight through them at some point. All right, here comes that Ringleader. Let's give our best effort to not let it resolve. They've been doing nothing all game, so the chance that there's a Red Blast coming off this Prospector is, I thought, high, but it didn't happen. Okay, that's great. Well, we'll go to combat. I think this Soldier token wants to meet the Fanatic, and then this Cop Red wants to save us a single point of life, and then we can yield through the turn. All right, we untap, we take draw. Mishra's Factory. I think I am somewhat interested in still holding up some interaction, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go colorless into blue-white, colorless. Let's morph this Angel and pass the turn. What's the answer to Circle? Just Anarchy? Just Anarchy, or going so big that I can't contain their damage with the Circle. Another Goblin Matron's fine. The trigger is good. What I would get here is, Gem Palm Incinerator. Gem Palm is fine. It does deal with my dude, but we're at the point where we can now resolve Wrath of God and hold up multiple pieces of permission, maybe even follow up with a Standstill. Goblin Lackey is fine. Yeah, this is basically where we wanted to be. I have a Mishra's Factory. I wouldn't even recommend attacking. All right, they don't. They're very smart. Max, make no mistake, Max is a great player, absolutely decimating the leaderboard. We draw a Factory. I like it. We're going to have to pay a life to do this, but I think that's fine. We'll go blue-white and tap for a colorless. Then we'll tap for a white going down to 6. And then we'll tap for a colorless. You know what? No, we'll play this Mishra's Factory. Are you the new one? You are. Then we'll tap for a colorless. Wrath of God. Then we will just pass the turn. There are some cards I'd rather counterspell than draw 3 cards against, like Siege Gang Commander. All right, Anarchy. Do we let Anarchy go? There's no longer any goblins, and I'm currently winning the race. I think we let Anarchy go. You destroyed my Cop Red. There's a Lackey. This is a good Prohibit target. Prohibit the Lackey. My turn. The spots like this are why I like Prohibit over the 3rd mana leak. All right, let's go let's see, can we attack with everything and hold up Counterspell? Yes, we'll play this Factory. We will tap this Factory for a colorless to man this Factory up. And then this makes the Standstill, so we can go colorless to man this Factory up. And then we can go to combat, send these in, damage. Then we can go 1 and float 2, Standstill, have Counterspell in hand. All right, this game should be a wrap. It is. They concede. Okay, game 3 is going to be the hardest. We're on the draw versus goblins now, which is a horrifying thought. We've got 6 answers to Lackey, and it's very important that we do our best to find one. Sometimes you mold a 5 and you have to keep a sketchy 5, but we're not going to go in thinking that's going to be the plan. I don't think I'm making any real changes. I could see a world where Meddling Mage is interesting over some of my permission, but ultimately I think I just need to stay the course. I'm going to submit this. I didn't see one in any of the matches he's played against them. Oh, there's no Ruby Medallions here, no. All right, so here we have a hand that cannot contain a Lackey. Our opponent also kept a 7. We also can't contain the aftermath of a Lackey. So unfortunately, even though this hand looks gorgeous and we have a sideboard card, we can't keep it. It's a shame. This hand also can't contain a Lackey, but we do have a Factory. This hand is notably worse than the first one. We could either take 1 more mulligan to find a way to deal with the Lackey, putting us at 3 cards in hand because we need the land to deploy the card, but we draw a card for turn. So if we go to 5, we end the turn with no Lackey, 4 cards in hand, and we have to contain the rest of their game plan with that. I think we have to mulligan this because we're looking for a right source with Impulse, meaning we're not going to have, they're going to overload our mana leak. We'll probably have to mana leak and not have a chance to Impulse. We're relying on the land off the top. The Angel's really nice, but I think ultimately they're on 7. We need to just try to get a really good 5. All right, this 5 also, this is a shame. No ways to contain Lackey. We looked for it 3 times. We must keep this. Counterspell, technically castable. Mana leak, I think it's Prohibit mana leak going to the bottom. And we just cross our fingers that we draw Swords to Plowshares, Hydroblast, or our opponent doesn't have their gear 1 start, but they kept on 7, so that's highly unlikely. Yep, there's the Lackey. Good one off the top. All right, thank goodness. Adarkar Wastes pass. All right, they go to combat. We let them. Let's see if you got 2 lackeys again, Max. STP. Just a skirk. Wasteland. Pop it. All right, you got it. This is good, but it's not quite gear 1. Coastal Tower, you may go. Have you tested this list or first time playing? How good has the Morphling been? This is the list I've been playing for a minute. I've been making little minor tweaks here and there. Yeah, we'll take one. Your port's going to be quite good. Yep, I got nothing for it. That's tapped. Land, please. No luck. All right, Conclave. If we can find a land off the top here and deploy the Powder Keg, we start to move towards a plan. This is the point in the game that really matters. Do we develop land? Because I think this is a War Chief. I mean, I guess War Chief means we're not porting, so I do get to develop the Powder Keg, but we need a lot to go right in the next couple turns. That is not one of the things that we wanted to happen, which is drawing a non-land. We will pass the turn. Here's a Matron. Sure, that's fine. We got a Tinkerer coming down? Or is this just like grab the Ringleader, go crazy? Or is it just grab Lackey and like force something huge into play? It's a pile driver, pretty good. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. I go to 4. Yeah, I think we get got by the Ripper here. Ooh, yeah. We were never going to beat this, unfortunately. So we're 1-1, lost to Goblins, beat Oppo Survival. The Goblins games were good. We had to mulligan to 5. I'm pretty happy with our performance on 5 there. We could only beat so much and they had kind of all of it, which will happen. But yeah, Goblins, Elves, those are both matchups that like, you're not playing Landstill to beat those decks. Landstill is just good enough to be able to contain those decks, but you're playing like hard Magic the whole time. All right, opponent number 3 is Tentacle Fan, and we are on the play, which matters quite a bit. Be on the play. We've got 2 lands, Standstill, some permission. We can deploy a Furnace on one. We keep this. I don't think the Amazing 7 could have taken that. Right, exactly, yeah. Like, if they keep 7, I have to assume that they're on Lackey. And if they are on Lackey, I have to respect it. And we mulled to 5 and didn't have an answer. We got lucky to draw the swords. I got to be pretty grateful there. Like, we still found some of the stuff we were looking for, so we take the tiny wins where we can get them. Let's grab an island and just drop a Furnace and pass. If our opponent doesn't have a turn 1, this Standstill, Faerie Conclave. So maybe Standstill is not the play here. Well, our own Faerie Conclave makes that seem a little better. This could be a mirror match. If I play Standstill now, I'm basically telling our opponent, hey, do you want to race to see who has more man lands? But my hand, unfortunately, my hand was set up to Standstill. And if I don't utilize my Standstills, I have 3 cards in hand right now. And this Counterspell is not going to be converted anytime soon. All right, this could lose us the game. We got to be a little brave. My own Standstill. Just a wastes. I like it. Yield through turn. Take draw. Wrath of God. My own Faerie Conclave. You may go. Something that can happen in this matchup. It doesn't happen that often, but something that can happen is we go so late into the game that we start to try to crack Standstill on the opponent instead of ourselves. So they draw 3. That comes up more than you'd think. All right, we don't draw land, but we draw an absorb. We untap, take draw. All right, we hit land. That was a huge, we needed to hit that particular land drop. All we can do now is hope our opponent runs out of lands before we do. No luck. They didn't just find a land before we did. They found the best possible land. Death Bowl off the top and we can continue to try to fight. Okay, Plains is solid. We'll just play the Plains and we will pass. If they go to Dust Bowl us, we're going to factor fick in response and force them to draw cards. All right, they're missing their land drop. They're going to discard. Yep, go for it, buddy. Wrath of God. We draw an STP. We're just passing. They find their 5th land. We're probably going to crack this Standstill ourselves, but we're going to wait until we've got more resources. Phenomenal, a Furnace. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll pass. We're going to go to crack this Standstill, I think, on their turn with the Factor Fick. All right, looks like they're going to discard again. End step. All right, let's make this happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opponent, draw up to 11 cards. You can cast one and go down to 10, but you're discarding 3, which is pretty great. Yeah, I'd mana leak this. All right, pitch 3. Let's pay close attention to these discarded cards. All right, a Standstill and a Chain of Vapor are gone. I wonder why they're maining Chain. Let's go with a tap for white, Phyrexian Furnace. And we will just happily eat the bottom and then ship the turn. You know, we haven't drawn a land yet. I think it's actually fine to just crack this right now on our opponent's mana leak. You know what? No, I'm not actually interested. I kind of want to track the spells they have. So we'll take out the least relevant card. Tapping here just to see if we draw land. We don't, but our hand's pretty good. We did let our opponent draw a bunch of cards, so the chance that they have like a land's kind of high. All right, now that Dust Bowl becomes our biggest issue, and they know it. All right, Faerie Conclave's gone. Yield through. Dust Bowl off the top, please. Wrath of God, not great. We must pass. 1, 2, Impulse is fine. Pitch Wrath of God. We could have mana leaked that, I suppose, but we already yielded through turn, so I wasn't rushing to undo. Another Dust Bowl? You've got it. 1 for me, please. STP, yeah, we're just not drawing lands, which is very bad. We'll pitch. I think we do want STPs. I don't think we want I think this absorb is going to be a trap. Tap land. Yeah, opponent is finding their lands. I am not. Our Adarkar Wastes, pass. We're not just looking for lands. We're specifically looking for Dust Bowl. We need to fight their Dust Bowl. Impulse, I think, is worth mana leaking. And we're going to do it with our non-basics. All right, mana leak it again. They don't have a lot they're going to resolve in their main phase that I care about. And these mana leaks are about to completely expire. And we need to convert some cards out of our hand because we have to keep going to discard, which we don't really want to do. Yeah, you've got to Standstill. Dust Bowl, no Dust Bowl, pass turn. We're going to play Draw Go for a while. The reason we're not conceding is because this game can go very, very long. If we get a vein of lands in our deck that contain a Dust Bowl, and we can start to pop their lands under their own Standstill, it gets bad for them. What gets tricky is if they're able to develop a card like Decree. That would be very problematic. But this I'm interested in converting into. Swords to Plowshares, one of your win cons. A smart player wouldn't even counterspell. They'd Dust Bowl our Adarkar Waste, sacrifice in the Mishra's Factory. Yep. No? Yes. Smart player. All right, it is gone. All right, you go to discard, pitch 2. We draw a Disenchant, pass the turn. No, I like this mirror. I enjoy playing this mirror quite a bit. All right, Dust Bowl. Yep, I would do that here. That's smart. All right, pass to me. I like it. Fetch land? Fetch land. Okay, that's a good one. Pass the turn. All right, they're just passing. They got their second Dust Bowl, which is usually a death sentence, but our deck also contains a Wasteland, which is pretty important. All right, basic land. Nice. Pass. They fetch. Seems good. Yep, Decree is good. This might be a little early for a Decree, though. I think they could have waited. This Decree I can like feasibly dig out of. So this tells me I think I can put them on 3 decrees if they're willing to decree for 4 here. Furnace, sure. Yeah, their list is quite a bit like ours. Not that there's a huge difference between most Standstill lists. All right, there's a Coastal Tower. Drop it, and we will ship the turn. You've popped my wastes. Attack for 4, that's fine. A Counterspell. I think we need to pull this trigger now. Not super likely to resolve, but let's see if we can squeak a lucky one in. Wrath of God. Absorb for sure. Attack for 4, 5, 6. All right, on tap, what do we see? What do we see? Decree. That's not good enough. All right, kill me. Yeah, developing Dust Bowl early in this game is a really easy way, really good way to break the mirror. We both have equal action against each other. I think I'm on the play. I don't think I'm on the play. I just am. So I'm going to change my strategy and become an aggressive deck, or a mid-range deck is what I feel gross calling it, but that's really what we're becoming. Furnace doesn't have text in this matchup. Disenchant is fine because it can blow up exactly Mishra's Factory. The question is always 1 or 2, right? I feel like 1 could be fine, especially because I'm not going to cut any Swords to Plowshares. This matchup's also going to go long. I'm actually going to completely cut Standstill from my deck as well. So I'm going to go 6 for 6 like this, have some more threats, and hope we draw our Dust Bowls. Test, test, test. Yeah, we're good. All right, we are on the play. This hand has plenty of basic lands and non-basics. Plenty of lands and a Decree we keep. Yeah, we're running a single Wasteland and 2 Dust Bowls. Drawing them in this matchup is huge. This is the matchup that really makes us want to play the first Wasteland, because breaking Dust Bowl is a huge deal. All right, here's my tower. You may go. A tower of your own. I like it. All right, let's just drop a Plains and pass. We're not even going to convert Impulse. I don't really feel the need to convert my mana super early. I'm going to wait till I know that I'm going to need a land or something. I'm just going to untap, take a draw, drop a Strand, pass the turn. I will not. I'm just going to F6. I don't mind if they Impulse at my end step. Little Conclave. Sweet. My turn. Untap and draw. Meddling Mage. Yeah, I think Meddling Mage seems fine here. Let's fetch for an island. Playing Adarkar Wastes. Meddling Mage. I think I'll mana leak their... Nope, they don't even choose to do anything. Okay. My hand doesn't contain Swords to Plowshares, so I will name Swords to Plowshares and have a clock. How does that get tricky? That gets tricky if they play a Mishra's Factory. I wonder if this is Mage naming Mage. It is. I haven't seen our opponent... I don't know if our opponent brought it in. I think it's correct, too. No, we'll stick to our first name. Swords to Plowshares. Go. They find their Dust Bowl, but I have plenty of lands. But now that they have a Dust Bowl, they're going to Standstill. This is interesting because I have a Decree. I wonder if I just Impulse. I think I'm just going to Impulse. I'm not even going to counterspell that. We see Factor Fiction, Impulse, and 2 lands. Let's take the Factor Fiction and just let that go. Play a Flooded Strand, go to combat, and send it. Interesting, keeping Standstills in this matchup. Although if you're the one that's drawing the Dust Bowls, it's quite a bit better. On tap and draw. Let's go. I'd rather Skycloud get broken up than my my Adarkar Wastes. Attack for 2, and you can go. All right, my turn. On tap, draw. I'm fine drawing lands for the rest of the game, which apparently we're doing. Go to combat, send for 2. All right, man up the Faerie Conclave. Easy trade. Easy trade. Bop. All right, you may go. So they can decree for 3 right now, and I can decree for what, 5? Land, go. Now that I don't have a land, I think I'm going to decree for 5. No more man lands. Okay, let's pull this trigger now. Let's try to set them off balance. Island, another island, cycling. All right, no response. Let's make 5 dudes. draws a land, draws a Dust Bowl. Wow, Dust Bowl's great here. Let's play it. Let's go to combat. All right, opponent, you got to figure this out right now. For sure. I'm going to be left with some dudes, and you are about to lose your Dust Bowl. We'll tap for 2, filter here, make a colorless, and we will pop this guy. Nope, the Adarkar Wastes. Adarkar Wastes. Yep, they made 4 dudes. So they can trade off some. I'm left with a dude and a Dust Bowl, so it's still on them to figure it out. Now, if they have their second decree, it gets trickier. But at that point, we just pop this Standstill in response to them cracking it and try to just keep going with the game. Attackers, end step. My turn. All right, let's play an Adarkar Wastes. Let's pop their Coastal Tower. Tap for 2. Make it one more. Make it one more. And pop, this time, the Skycloud Expanse. The idea is that if they have a decree, I'd like them to cycle it here. So now they could cycle decree for 1. I think I'm fine with, or for 3. I think I'm okay with that. They do nothing. We're just passing. All right, they're passing back. All right, same situation here. Use this Dust Bowl to pop this. Tap for colorless. Colorless white. Sacrifice the Adarkar Wastes. Combat. Ping you for 1. Play an island. Go. All right, they're just passing. Great. Love to see it. Continue my aggressive attack on our opponent's mana base. What they did game 1, I agree with that line. I also would like to do the same thing. Let's pop this Adarkar Wastes. All right, combat. Coming in. All right, they cast Factor Fiction after popping their thing. Let's mana leak the Factor Fic. Go to the next turn, and we will pitch. Our hand's pretty well set up. I think we're just going to pitch the Impulse. All right, we get game 2. In a very similar fashion to how they got game 1. Game 3, player draw doesn't matter as much in this matchup. Knowing that they kept Standstills in is kind of weird. I don't want my Standstill, so if they want to pick that fight with their own mana, they can. I think I like the config here. Yeah, no changes. Submit the deck. All right, we've got many lands and a Meddling Mage Keep and a Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl is huge. Little Mishra's Factory action. I like it. We'll lead on a Adarkar Wastes. If they want to get aggressive, I'm going to punish them. Just a Faerie Conclave. All right, my turn. Let's go with, I don't really care what they cast. Let's play Skycloud. Tap it for blue-white. Play Meddling Mage. I think the card we want to name here, they're hurting a little bit on mana for sure. They didn't show me a Meddling Mage. I'm actually just going to name Standstill. They showed me that they kept him in. They're no longer in my deck, so that could just blank an entire card from their hand. Go. Factor Fiction does seem bad for us. Our hand just contains Counterspell. All right, they're just passing. I agree. Coastal Tower, I think I want an on-tap land here so I can actually Counterspell if I need to. So we'll just make it a Plains. And is this newly controlled? It's not, so we can't really attack. So we're just passing. Their own Dust Bowl. I like it. Picasso. My turn. A Disenchant. Do I attack here to get them with Dust Bowl? I think I might. All right. Attack with Mage. All right. There's an STP. Got him. Dust Bowl. Hit your Dust Bowl. 1, 1, 2. Tap here. Beep. Beep. Sacrifice the Skycloud Expanse. All right. No Teferi's response. Bullet dodged. Do you have your second Dust Bowl? You have a keg for sure. All right. They're not developing lands now. I smell blood. I smell bloody, bloody blood. Dust Bowl. Take out your Faerie Conclave. 1, 2, 3. Both the sources in my hand are blue, so we'll sacrifice an Adarkar Wastes. Go. They find a land. They play a seal. Yeah, they're attacking enchantments really hard. Here we go with a full... I wonder if I take a turn off of Dust Bowling. I think I do. Let's just get... I guess if I take a turn off Dust Bowling, they can Dust Bowl me, which is a little bit freaky, but they'd have to have it. I don't think they do. We're just going to pass. We're gonna try to change the ebb and flow of how we're Dust Bowling into Dust Bowling them on their turn instead of mine. All right, they're just passing. We draw an Impulse. I'll play a Faerie Conclave. I'll stop them in their upkeep. All right, Dust Bowl, the Mishra's Factory. And then I think we'll just sacrifice the Adarkar Wastes, maybe? No, I think it's the Plains this time. I think it's going to be harder for them to leverage Dust Bowl. All right, that worked. F6. They fetch, for sure. Yeah, you've got a Mage. STP, for sure. All right, here's a land. Let's do this while I've got the opportunity. Just disenchant their Powder Keg. Because I now have a... I'm basically showing them that I have it, but I do now have a Decree of Justice. Go. We no longer need to stop in your upkeep, and I'm losing on time here. Okay, there's an Adarkar Wastes. Attacks are fine. All right, unstep. Let's go Impulse. Almost fine with the land here. Counterspell is cool. I think I just want to make my land drops. That's like the advantage we're currently developing over our opponent is our gross mana advantage. All right, let's go with Adarkar Wastes. Dust Bowl you. Hit your Adarkar Wastes. That for 1, 2, 3. Sacrificing one of mine. Teferi's response. Fetch for an island. Counter. All right, you may attack me. I take 2. I untap. I draw. Factor Fic. I can't quite play that through a mana leak. I'll wait until I can. If our opponent doesn't draw second island, then it's really just mana leak that's fighting us. They draw a non-basic, but I think this turn I'm more interested in regaining access to my STPs. So let's go. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe I can just race this. Probably not. No, let's go ahead and do this for a white 1/2. All right, they concede. Got him. Beat the Landstill mirror. Let's go into round number 4 at 2-1. Yeah, I was thinking that was a coin flip, but that was completely because you played towards your Dust Bowl advantage. Yeah, the Dust Bowl is the card that controls the mirror match. All right, final round 4. We're on the play. What's up, fan of the channel? Oh, thank you. Good luck, have fun. All right, we've got a factory and a standstill. We keep these. Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything. Creature hate, artifact enchantment hate, counter spells, card draw. This is a good hand. All right, here's a Flooded Strand. Go ahead. I could fetch right now just in case it's Dreadnought and they have Stifle, but I want to be able to choose. Like if there's a Lackey, I want to be able to STP it, you know? It's a swamp for sure. If there's Duress, they're going to hit this Standstill. I'm going to be a little upset about it, but I'll understand because I think it's a good play. It's a Cabal Therapy. Okay. I think Standstill is still a great name here with Cabal Therapy. I would not even call them a sniper if they named it. Counterspell hits, but I do believe that Standstill would have been a better name. All right, we on tap, we draw. Let's fetch for a Plains, play out an island, play Standstill, ship the turnover. Show me your manland. No manland. So you basically have to crack this. It's a little bit of a trap to if you have a linear game plan, waiting to crack the Standstill almost never works out in your favor, unfortunately. Here's a Conclave. I'm just passing. What they might be doing, this is something only the mono black decks can really do. They might be waiting until they draw like such a critical mass of hand disruption that they can actually tear apart the Standstill after the crack happens. This is something that really only this deck has the range to do. Drawing the Conclave is a big deal for me though, because now I have 2 manlands to their 1. So they'll have to draw up to 3 manlands to beat mine. Ooh, that cannot be good for opponent. All right, I think I'm pretty chill with just wastelanding here. I'm not going to attack yet either. I'm going to wait till I get the factory in play and I can attack with the factory on the ground and potentially cast a counterspell off the top once they crack my Standstill to try to remove my factory. They could also just jam Hippie here. That would be completely reasonable, but they are just passing. I mean, I do like this gameplay we're in right now. A second factory, all right. Yeah, they're going to have to pop this. I don't think there's any way out anymore for them. Another factory is fine. All right, they're going for it. I like it. I would have maybe done it a little bit earlier, but I don't hate, unless they're going to activate their factory in Cabal Therapy. That would be a really weird line here. Is this a rat? It is. Okay, Standstill is going to do its thing. I'm going to draw some cards. And then, yeah, this rat is a Prohibit. Converting my Prohibit when I can, I think is pretty important because they can always like, get that rat into play flashback therapy. They know about my Swords to Plowshares, I think. All right, they're just passing. But without the Standstill, I'm less incentivized to just keep jamming attackers in. Mana Lake's a great pickup, though. I think I will start to get factories into play so they are not summoning sick. It's not yet time to attack with them, but all it takes is like one good rat. This game's going to take quite a few more turns, but we've got factor fictions and things to draw into. They've got strong threats to draw into. So there's going to be some wars fought. And at the end of it, I want to have as many factories that can attack and play as possible. Because there's going to be like, usually in matchups like this, you go through some exchanges and then there's this 1 or 2 turn period where there's a drought. All resources have been used. Ivory Tower? Yeah, I don't care about that. All the resources have been used. There's this huge drought, right? During that drought, you can get in a ton of damage if you're prepared for it. Do I disenchant the Ivory Tower? I don't think so. Untap. Draw an STP, play a... That drought's not happening yet. I think I will get one more colored source into play and just pass. 1, 2, 3. All right, Skeletal Scrying, that's an easy mana leak. We can't have that. You may go. They gain nothing off the tower. That's why I didn't disenchant the tower. Like, it's not threatening me, and I can kill from almost any life total. So I'm not going to sweat that. CE4NN, thank you for the Prime sub. First time sub. Welcome to the channel, buddy. They passed to us. We're kind of looking for like Factor Fiction, another Standstill, cards like this. Faerie Conclave, I'll take it. I'll take as many win cons in play as I can get. Monologue Frog, how you doing, buddy? We chilling. All right, we're passing. I like it. Now they'll gain a life off the Ivory Tower. However, my deck doesn't really care about that. We're just going to keep drawing threats and passing the turn. This does look like a more control-oriented version of Mono Black, which is interesting because my Swords to Plowshares aren't as good as they might normally be. However, I do have them on a 2-turn clock. Of course, I would need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would need 4 more lands to actually execute on that, but just glad to catch another stream. We'll be streaming a lot for the next couple of weeks. Cabal Therapy? Yes. Hopefully you don't name swords. That would be so sad for me. They name swords. Are they playing Contamination? Could be. It's possible. Although Contamination piles normally don't contain Ravenous Rats, which is in the deck. It kind of breaks the Nether Spirit trick. 4 manas for a Graveborn Muse. Okay, I'm into that. So we need to draw some gas because that Cabal Therapy naming relevant card in hand mattered. Phyrexian Furnace. Okay, I'll take that. We'll go Flooded Strand. Let's double fetch here. We'll grab an island and I think a plains as well. And then we're going to get busy here and here. Combat. We'll send it. All All right, let's go pump here, pump here. Combat damage, you take a sizable hit. Now the big question is, do I want to Furnace or Disenchant? I think I'm okay with our opponent gaining, what is this? This is an upkeep thing. This happens during the upkeep, so they can stack it so they stay life neutral. I think that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll tap 1, I'll play a Furnace. I'm going to eat the bottom, and I'm not going to pop it right away. I'll wait for them to put any other creature into play or activate the factory, because if they want to sacrifice their Muse to therapy us, that's okay. Oh, I take that back. They won't even be gaining any life. They'll actually lose a life here. They activate factory. I like getting aggressive here quite a bit, actually. All right, I think so they can't hit my Disenchant. I will just nab that Cabal Therapy now. Maybe they scrying for 1. They don't. All right, we'll take 5. There's a Flooded Strand. All right, I am prepared to ask you the question, do you have 4 castable? Let me see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, do you have enough castable removal spells to stop me from just pushing into a race? There is a chance that they do have that, but I think I need to force the issue. Turn this on for a white, turn this on for a blue, turn this on for a blue, turn this on for both combat, full send. All of your removal spells will resolve. Edict is good. I'm going to sacrifice one of my factories. Edict is good. This time it'll be a fairy. No, I like my flyers more. Another factory. Take 4. Or do you have a snuff out? Okay, you take 4. Continue. Plague Bearer would be miserable. We probably couldn't beat a Plague Bearer right now. Tap for 1, 2, 3. So we're not doing the factory race. All right, we've got it. Phyrexian Arena is interesting. This makes me want to disenchant the Ivory Tower pretty bad. They might even Cabal Therapy it here. Yep, I think I would. Otherwise, they're going to get bled dry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm actually on a, nope, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I'm not on a, I've got actually a 3-turn clock right now, which is meaningful. Okay, on tap. Wait, what did they hit with Cabal Therapy? Counterspell. Why would you not name the Disenchant? Oh, I see. Well, this takes away from your clock though, right? Yeah, I think I can try to race you pretty hard right now. Yeah, you got my Disenchant. You're going to gain no life next turn. And you're going to take 3. All right, man this up. 1, 2. Man this up. 1, 2. Combat. I actually don't want them to be able to block with the Wretch, because they're going to lose 3 lives. They're going to 2. Then I can just play Coastal Tower, and it's on you, opponent. You have to find a way to kill me now. A Drain Life would be probably a super welcome addition to their hand. That would end the game. They've got 4 looks. What's going on, Wangy? How you doing? Oh, no. Well, it doesn't matter. They said they're new to MTGO. It's no big. You wouldn't have gained life anyway. You're going to draw 1, 2, 3 cards. Then your Ivory Tower is going to trigger. Nothing's going to happen because you're going to have 4. Then you draw your card for turn. All right, you got to drain life me. Otherwise, I think I got your number. Like, you have to kill me here. Otherwise, your own board kills you. All right, they're dead. Yeah, if you end up, you're a fan of the channel, so if you watch this video back, don't worry, your ordering was bad. But because of the hand size you need to accomplish through your extra card draws before the Ivory Tower trick, you wouldn't have gained life anyway. So no harm, no foul there. A card I've seen people trying out in the sideboard of this deck is Cop Black. I don't think I'm ever putting Cop Black in my deck. What do we want? Morphling's interesting. It doesn't play very well into Diabolic Edict typically, but in our deck, we've got a lot of man lands. So this is a win condition I can consider because this game probably will get compressed. Although our opponent's deck is on the slower side, so maybe not. We see Ivory Tower. We see Mishra's Factory. We see Phyrexian Arena. I think Disenchant is okay. Aura of Silence even might be better on the play. They're probably going to be trimming removal. I almost wonder if I just like bring in dudes because their Diabolic Edicts are going to be taxed pretty hard by our manlands. And then no Meddling Mages. I wonder if it's just like dudes plus Disenchant. I'm fine. Plays 5th with Moxless Gat this weekend. Very sick. Love to see it. Although don't let Lanny hear you say that. It's just called Groatog now. There's Groatog, and then there's the Groatog deck that people, for some reason, put Diamond in to make their deck worse. If you ask Lanny. I kind of agree with Lanny. The more I play Moxless Gat, or the new Groatog deck, the more I'm like, this does just feel better. I think Absorb's too slow on the draw. I think that same with Counterspell. I think I'm going to trim like a Counterspell. I think I'm also going to trim a Standstill. Then it's like, is Mana Leak that good? Is Furnace actually effective? I think it is because they're playing Skeletal Scrying. Powder Keg solid. They probably have Wasteland. Yeah, I could see trimming actually a couple Counterspells. All right, let's try this. We're raising our curve substantially, but this matchup's a little on the slow end, and I think they're going to trim removal. How's the league going? We are currently 2-1 in round 4. We're up a game in our 4th round. Our only loss was to 2nd place on the leaderboard, Max the Ripper, and they drew their Gear 1 start in game 3, and I had to mold a 5. They played it very well the whole time. Max the Ripper can't say anything about it. He's right up there with Jaddy on the top of the leaderboard, absolute killers. And we got. But this deck has the tools to beat goblins. I actually enjoy playing that matchup quite a bit. This is just a 1-lander. There's not anything else to say about it. This is a 4-lander. No basics. I think we ship a Factor Fiction because Cabal Therapy eating us alive is horrifying. But if they have like Dark Ritual in their deck, a Dark Ritual start would absolutely tear us apart. Swamp Duress? Swamp Ivory Tower. Okay. That is not a high impact turn 1 versus us. Coastal Tower, go. If they go Rat, we'll pitch. That's actually kind of hard. Maybe it's Dust Bowl, although it's very likely just Adarkar Wastes. There's a Factory. Dust Bowl live, confirmed. If this is a therapy, I fully expect it to just name Counterspell, and it will be correct to do so. If they let me on tap and hold up Counterspell, the rest of this game, they're going to have trouble like developing their board state. So, yep. Disenchant, though. Interesting. So I don't like naming Disenchant here because I'm not going, if I had it in my hand, I wouldn't be disenchanting that tower. Maybe this is a proactive play to protect their Mishra's Factory and they want to utilize that to win the game, but now there's no way this is good. It looks like they're going to hit I don't know if they're going to hit Counterspell or Factor Fiction, but walking back a land, I don't think is possibly the way to go here. Yeah, they hit Counterspell. And I mean, I like getting the Counterspell, but I think they should have just named that in the first place. I guess they saw the Dust Bowl and maybe they thought I can't use the Mishra's Factory. All right, here's a Keg. That's pretty good. I'm happy to see that here. 1, 2. We'll just get it up to 1 and then we'll just keep passing. Yeah, sacking the land was weird to me. But maybe they have some plan that's not clear to us yet. That's totally possible. Another land. Rat would be like phenomenal. Okay, Keg, we're always going to yield and I'm going to take it up the first time. Then we have an Impulse. I like that. We're going to play a Factory. Just develop that really quick and pass the turn. Ivory Tower has eaten a card in their hand, and so far it has gained them a single point of life. Zombie Infestation. That is a cool one. We'll need to deal with it eventually. Our deck does contain Disenchant. So we'll see if they... Now, this Zombie Infestation makes me wonder if they are Contamination. End step, I think I must Impulse. No way to beat the Zombie Infestation, but this Exalted Angel actually looks quite tantalizing, and we can protect it from Diabolic Edict with our Mishra's Factory. We'll leave this at 1. There's a Floody. Let's go ahead and develop the... I think we're always going to Factor Fiction here, so we'll just develop the Adarkar Wastes and pass. Real Bad Tech, what's going on, baby? Love catching a shroom stream. Thanks, dude. How you doing? We're jamming some Landstill, dude. I love this deck with my whole heart. All right, do we see a Nether Spirit? Oh, we don't even see an activation of the Zombie Infestation. Maybe there's squeeze in this deck. The Zombie Infestation seems to have a pull against the Ivory Tower. Here's a Dark Rit. This is fine. Is it Graveborn Muse time? Is that where we're going with this? It's Arena time. This is fine. With Zombie Infestation, if we lose this game, I think that Cleansing Meditation is a slam dunk. End step, Factor Fic. I'm still trying to crack a learn. Have you played any of Sam Black's list? Soon. So I will be playing that list so soon. But in paper, because it's basically nonsense to try to play it online. There's no chance this split's good. You can't do this. That's a little bit better. I'm still no, you can't. Now maybe I take the Disenchant pile. Yeah, I think now maybe I take this Disenchant pile. Yeah, okay, I like that split. They split it in a way that forced me to take the 2, which is usually a sign that you split it pretty good. No ticking up here. Another Mishra's Factory is a great pluck. Let's expose one of my Exalted Angels to Smother. They don't know about the second one. Also, it stops them from therapying Angel, probably, hopefully. It's not too bad online because you've got Soul Ward instead of Spike Feeder, which is less clicks, and Rishon and Cutthroat for a soft win. That's fair. Maybe we'll try it. I just ordered, actually right here, I've been picking up cards for it because there's only a few more that I need. And just need 2 more of these and then some Hickory Woodlots, and we've got the whole thing. I got my Allurns before they spiked, which was lucky for me. All right, yeah, you can do the Phyrexian Arena thing. 2 manas. Diabolic Edict. Yeah, we will activate this Mishra's Factory. Okie doke. No response. Sacrifice the Mishra's Factory. Okay. End step, my go. We will not take up the Keg. Take a draw for turn. We'll play a basic island. We're flipping. White, whatever. Combat. Here I come. Beep, beep. All right, race this, dude. I'll gain some life and I'll pass to you. I won 4 Allurn at a Premodern raffle a few years ago. That is an awesome score for $5. Jeez. Forget about it, dude. That's perfect. All right, you go to 15 and you gain nothing. This Zombie Infestation is also, so the 2 permanents that they put into play haven't done anything yet. Now that can change, but it's a late game investment right there. All right, there's a Graveborn Muse. This is fine. End step, my go. On tap. Do we take this up now? I think so. I think we can try to get that to 4 now. Combat, let's beep in there, gain some life. And then now we're going to disenchant the Phyrexian Arena for a white and a colorless. And then we will play a Flooded Strand and just ship the turn. We also could have morphed another Angel. I think it's fine to just be patient here. I think I'll hardcast it. Exposing it to Smother seems a little sketchy at this point. When that next turn I can hardcast it and protect them both. Duress is fine. It doesn't hit anything. And protect them both from the from Diabolic Edict using the Mishra's Factory. All right, Therapy. There goes my Angel. That's sad. Although this clock is still problematic for you. Another tower is fine. Kind of interesting that they got 2 towers because I definitely just developed my keg up to 2. But I think that this angel's just faster. On tap. Also, now I've got this Mishra's Factory, which is a little bit spooky. We'll take this up. All right, here's a Dust Bowl. And also this factory is now coming in. All right, combat. Let's full send it. This many damages. Pitch in 2 to the zombie infestation. This is fine. Blocks are good. I'm just going to STP. I didn't mean to click through that. I was accidentally holding the button down, but it's fine. All right, you're at 12, but actually you're at 8. I'm at 28. You can go. All right, you're going to go up to 2 cards in hand. The Zombie Infestation Graveborn Muse combo is kind of neat, but it's going to get a little tricky here in a sec for them, I think. Unless they find a way out of this Exalted Angel, then they're looking pretty good. You're going to attack? I almost just wouldn't. Yeah, you need the blocker. Not that it matters. The keg's going to take care of it for me. Take that up. All right, let's pop the keg. And let's just go to combat. I'm not going to attack with the factory because they can make a zombie to block. And then Diabolic Edict becomes a way to answer the angel. I feel like you're going to have a lot going right for those towers to trigger in your deck that discards your hand. Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think Gush decks are the best ones at utilizing a zombie infestation. I'm going to hold the Dust Bowl. That way I don't have to like impulse for a card that I need to use to counter a Ravenous Rats. This basically gives me a free discard and I can still impulse at end step. Yeah, those towers have triggered. One of those towers has gained 1 life, but it's eaten 2 of the cards in their hand. I don't think that's where you want to be. All right, good games, opponent. GG's. All right, we're 3-1. Let's see if we can clutch the 4-1 in round 5. All right, round 5, and we are on the play, so we'll take it. This hand is solid. It's missing a Standstill. It's missing a Swords to Plowshares, but 2 impulses give us a lot of looks. Let's hope this isn't Dreadnought because the hand's not really set up to beat it. But in case it is Dreadnought, we're going to fetch. I want to buy Katana Sleeves. Is there a code I should be using to support you? What country are you from? Flooded Strand, and I will not pass. I'm just going to get an island. And you may go USA. So no, just go to your LGS. Ultimate Guard doesn't currently have an operation in the US where they can sell direct to consumer. So they sell to businesses that sell to consumers, if that makes sense. Adarkar Wastes, that lets us have Counterspell up, which is a big deal. Because this is just an island, which tells me it very much could be Dreadnought. Ooh, Toggy Tog. At least that's what I think it is. I really don't know if I'm supposed to impulse yet. I guess I've got 2 of them, so I should use 1. Wasteland. I actually kind of like the Wasteland here. We're going to take it. Any order. I do want to just pop that Underground River right now. All right, Wasteland. Get out of here. No mana for you. Stifle? Blue, black, Dreadnought. Interesting. That gives us a lot of information. I think I pick the fight here. If we get Dazed or Foiled, that's okay. But if they have Dazed or Foiled, they can just pick this fight with me again if I try to beat their... a second Stifle. Okay. Well, now if they do have a Dreadnought, it's much less likely that they can save it. This is Storm. Oh, hey, you're streaming. Yeah, just jamming random jank stuff. Tooling around with 2-2 so far with this nonsense. Oh, were you the mono black player? The one thing, the deck was sweet. The one thing I didn't really understand was I'm really glad that I fetched in my first turn, by the way. The one thing that I didn't super well understand, Standstill, huh? I'll play a Mishra's Factory for now, was the Ivory Towers. Now, I do get that, Zombie Infestation, making zombies with the Graveborn Muse can draw you a bunch of cards. But, if they're in your main board, I think you take them out in the matchup you were just playing. I think. I'm not actually sure. Flash for 1, I'm sure. Yep, Flash for 1's fine. In terms of playing against Dreadnought, I think I'd rather play against mono blue Dreadnought. Duress is a nightmare. All right, they're just passing. I think I'll use this moment to try to resolve an impulse. Counterspell, do we need it? I think so. Yeah, we'll take Counterspell. Next turn, Faerie Conclave. Do we pull the trigger on a Fact or Fiction at their end step to try to set up Standstill Counterspell? I think so. So here's a Skycloud Expanse, and I will pass. I want to sign multiple Graveborn Arenas. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can see where you want the tower to be good, but I think it is asking a lot of your deck. I would almost want to put that in my sideboard instead. All right, Portent's good. Rejuvenation Chamber, 3 mana, gain 8. It's true, but it does cost 3 mana. That is the downside of that card. Okay, they've got a Polluted Delta. This is as few cards as they're going to have in their hand for the foreseeable future. I don't even care if this gets dazed. I just want to trade for something. Please make me a trade, opponent. There we go. I will not pay. All right, you will draw off Portent. I will draw for turn. You fetch. That's fine. All right, there's a mana leak. Let's go with a Standstill. Tapping for 1, 2. Damn it, that's not what I wanted. I hate the way that works. There we go, like this. Want to make a trade, partner? All right, mana leak, the Counterspell, I think. Or do I just let this go? You know what? No, we'll let this go. This is fine. I'm going to play Flooded Strand to fight Daze, and I'm going to pass the turn. We're fighting Daze, obviously, because if they go for Dreadnought next turn and I need to use Counterspell, I want them to have to foil it. Gush is going to ruin everything anyway. But all right, that is search the top 4. Yeah, we're not mana leaking a impulse. That resolves. All right, you're up. They pass. My turn. Okay, let's see if our opponent is playing the card Smother. Combat, squeak in there. They appear not to be. Here's not an island, a plains, and I'll pass. Hardcast Gush, Mana Leak Gush, fetch. Before they can stifle my fetch, I'll grab an island, continue. 1, 2, Pitchcast Gush, that's fine. You have 8. One of them's a land, so 7. Dreadnought combo down to 5. Foil down to 2, but Counterspell's down to 4. Well, I'll fight the duress. I don't want to know the last card of my hand's a land. Let's top deck STP and have them not have the response. That'd be ideal. Oh, they don't have anything. Great. All right, untap, draw. Let's drop a Standstill. Let's see what they have to say about that. Yeah, I would. All right, activate this. Combat, attack you. Combat damage. You're at 12. Commence the 3-turn clock. Don't dreadnought me, bro. They must have just drew that. I wonder why they didn't do that last turn. They're going down to 3 in hand. So I get 2 draw steps to try to find a way out. Haven't seen a single STP, but it adds a ton of length to the game. Ooh, Decree. I can't quite do it for 2. Let's get in there with my dudes. Combat, send it, and you can go. This is a matchup where I really would rather be on Seal of Cleansing over Disenchant because they have duress, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference. All right, I'm at 4. STP. Let's see. 1, 2. Well, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Cycle for 1, 2. I think I must do this in their upkeep. That way, Vision Charm is a extra turn. The question is do I attack with my factory? Can I attack with both? Do I just lose if it doesn't work? The answer is yes, because if it doesn't work, if they Vision Charm it, I get another turn. But if they Counterspell it, which is very much in their range, let's see what they have here left for Counterspells. They've used 1, 2, and we haven't seen a single foil. So the chance that this works is approaching 0. But if it does work, then I want to be able to kill them on the follow-up. But if it's tricky. I guess I put them on having, my out is then having Vision Charm. Then I go Swords to Plowshares in your upkeep, and then you Vision Charm the Dreadnought. But I want to be able to untap and kill you to leverage that. And I can't make enough Decree of Justice tokens to do so. So yeah, activate for a colorless. Can I activate this too? I don't have any 1-mana ways to deal with the Dreadnought, so I guess I may as well. Yeah, this just kind of has to resolve. So let's go blue and 2. Get busy for 4 and see if we lose to this foil. All right, you're up. All right, show me. 1, 2, Counterspell, got it. Concede. Close game. We will be on the play for game 2, obviously. We've got a lot of action into a matchup like this. 2 Annul, 3 Meddling Mages, 1 Disenchant, and I could see potentially doing an Aura of Silence. I think it might be like a little sketch. I do like the Phyrexian Furnaces. I don't like the Absorb. I do not like the Wrath of Gods. I like Prohibit. Standstills are actually a little bit freaky in this matchup. I think I can shave at least 1. Why keep Furnace? Because of the card Flash of Insight and because of the card Accumulated Knowledge, one of which we did see them cast game 1, so we know they have Flash. Furnace, you can just cycle through it. Yeah, that'll happen real bad. Even the best decks see their fail states sometimes. So that's 4. We need 2 more. Do we want to do multiple Standstills out? I think 2 Standstills can come out. Maybe not. We're on the play. Maybe we want to leverage this. I think we can drop a Decree. That trigger getting stifled is a nightmare. And a Mana Leak. Counterspells are pretty good, but I think Mana Leak's the worst one, yeah. All right, these ones. Let's do it. No, Prohibit's actively good in this matchup. Prohibit counters a Phyrexian Dreadnought and an Enabler at any point in the game where Mana Leak will expire, right? Because they can play a really long game versus us. All right, I will be on the play. Let's take a lookie here. Well, it's not a turn 2 Meddling Mage, but there's a Meddling Mage and multiple pieces of permission. I think we're kind of priced into keeping a hand like this. Here's a tower, go. Really interested to hear your thoughts on blue-white, or Spring Fling 1K had a blue-white Landstill player who went 1 and 4 and a big blue-white player who actually top-8'd. I would consider, that's not a lot of context, right? Like, there's a lot of different pilots for a lot of different decks. Also, they could have had totally different tournament paths. I've watched Dreadnought go 0-5. Like, it's a thing that can just happen. All right, make you have it. Meddling Mage. Yeah, Opt resolves. Do you have days, though? All right, wow, that was easy. Okay, game 3. That was no chance that was a good concession. They could have played so much more Magic. Like, keeping 7, that was a 7, right? Yeah, keeping 7 and folding to an on-curve Meddling Mage is crazy. Yeah, I like the configuration still. I think on the draw, the Furnace gets quite a bit worse. And I wonder if, no, I think it's okay. Yeah, we'll keep it. Oh, about the 2 decks, I think that Landstill is a more, I think big blue-white, I disagree with Cyrus saying that big blue-white, the blue-white control deck is strictly better than Landstill. I think they're 2 similar tools for they have different good matchups. One of these decks, the big divide is one of these decks is good against, one of these decks is really bad against Sabo's Web. One of these decks plays Sabo's Web. And once you contain that, you can kind of figure out how the mashups change across the board. I can't keep a one-lander. This hand has a Powder Keg. If they just have the hand, I'm doomed. But I think we're keeping. I really don't want to miss a land drop. This Decree of Justice doesn't look particularly enticing to me. Dust Bowl's probably not great, though. I think I'm going to pitch the Dust Bowl. Yeah, they scooped to 1 mage. I've got no clue what that was about. All right, turn 1 island, no portent. All right, let's show them a Plains. No, let's show them a Flooded Strand. I know I could play Coastal Tower, but I want to put it in their head that if they just go for the Dreadnought and they don't have any backup, that I could have swords. No, it's not normal for Dreadnought to just lose to Meddling Mage post sideboard. That is not a normal thing. All right, my turn, I untap and I draw. Here's a Plains, you can go. Little Polluted Delta action. Pass to me, I like it. All right, untap, draw. Island is a welcome addition. I'll just play it and pass. Yeah, Essence Flare, Chain of Vapor, the black version, which is what our opponent is, also gets access to, yeah, Impulse is fine. They also get access to Smother, which is a pretty big deal, right? Dominate doesn't answer the Meddling Mage. It's kind of weird. Like, it turns it into a win con, but I still have like a lot of time to just like leave it in play, which gets really weird. All right, you can opt in your main phase. That's fine with me. One top it. They're going to gush. I'm going to let it go. You're at 9 in hand. You got to land. You cast a Dreadnought. I'm going to mana leak it. Pitch cast foil. This is fine. You can order them off like Amazon, but you need to go to an LGS. Like, it's our deal isn't set up that way with Ultimate Guard. You can't buy direct from Ultimate Guard if you're in the US. They just don't happen to service that market. Okay, drawing a little bit heavy on lands. Let's go ahead and go with an Adarkar Wastes and drop a Keg. Do you have another foil? Looks like no. They could have a Stifle. We're not out of the woods yet. I'll tell the rando cashier that Mr. Shroom sent me. Please do. Attackers are fine. They've already used 1 Stifle. The chance they have another is not that low. Vision Charm's even higher. A land. They've only got 3 in hand. All right, let's see if they stifle this. Fetch. All right, we'll grab an island. My turn. Always yield. Yeah, I want to take it up. Okay, we drew a land every turn, it looks like. Yeah, we've drawn a land every turn. It's going to be pretty hard to win a matchup like that, huh? Let's drop a Plains and just pass the turn. Pop the Keg. Please Vision Charm. Please no Stifle. Thank you. I could cycle the Decree to look for a piece of permission, but then I can't make any dudes. I don't think dudes are saving me here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Cycle 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I should have left a white up. That was a huge blunder. No response because Disenchant and Swords, right? All right, it's just another land. No harm, no foul. Yeah, you Vision Charmed your shrimp. They fetch. I hope they duress us. Yep. Here you go, opponent. All right, deck. Deliver. Okay. A little bit of an anticlimactic game 3. I wonder how deep we were away. Draw a card. It's not going to show us. Rip. All right, a little 3-2 with Landstill. We're going to start playing Landstill. I don't know if every single time is going to make the channel, but I think I'm going to make a point to stream with this deck once a week. This is a deck that I'm going to be playing a ton at my local events and at, the premier events around Michigan and Ohio. So I just really want to specialize in a deck, and this is the one that I love. Landstill delivered that game 3 for sure. We saw all of our lands. We put up a pretty good fight for only having 3 spells in our range, so I don't hate it. Our opponent maybe could have 2-0'd us. Like, we were favored to win game 2, but that concession against the Meddling Mage was like, if you couldn't beat a on-curve Meddling Mage, I have no clue what you kept on 7. Man, no humility. I'm back and forth. I'm not convinced I shouldn't be playing humility. I'm just right now testing a version that doesn't play humility. Thoughts on the deck? I'm not going to do thoughts on this deck every time. This is a strong deck in the format. Some things that I think could change moving into my next league that I play with this. I think humility might be worth it. I've been loving the 2-2 split between Kegs and Phyrexian Furnace. We've got a solid Dreadnought matchup. I would say our Dreadnought matchup's even mildly positive. Like, our game 1 into that round 5 didn't go particularly in our favor, but we waited a long time to draw enough interaction to actually fight the Dreadnought. And the game went like a little longer than we wanted it to, and it was still close. Like, we were racing. There was a way we could have won that game. But Dreadnought's so good that it beats its bad matchups. And when I say bad matchup, I think it's 55-45 in our favor. I don't think it's polarizing, but this deck's sweet. Another thing, a lot of people play 3 Decree of Justices. I'm trying an Exalted Angel in the main. I've been happy with it up to this point, so for at least a couple more leagues, I'll be playing it. That's all I have for you guys for now, so thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time.